We will start. Welcome everyone, and I'm just going to mute all your microphones, and when you have a question, just please make sure you use the text box. Please do feel free to interrupt me at any point of the PowerPoint, and towards the end we'll be able to have an opportunity to discuss more the tools. For those who just arrived, can you please make sure you get some pieces of paper and color pens if you have them? If not, at least 2 different colors will be enough, and plenty of paper so you can as well obviously carry out the exercises while I am explaining them to you. So this is the additional webinar for the project mentoring, and it will be looking at expanding your mentoring toolkit. Now, in terms of mentoring toolkit, we know that it's very important to understand that the client needs or different client needs are very different, and obviously having the toolkit is just, as it says, a toolkit, and the same exercise you can use it for different stages of entrepreneurship. Now, what we have seen in terms of the entrepreneurship framework, we know that entrepreneurship literature talks about hard skills and soft skills. Now, you know, a decade ago, the literature was saying that if you wanted to set up a business, you really wanted to look at the hard skills, mainly, you know, finance, marketing, strategy. That soft skills were really not so important. However, now the research has changed its emphasis, because it has looked at that in order to set up a business, you definitely have to have both hard skills and soft skills. Now, the difficulty with soft skills and how we define it, we know that soft skills are personal attributes that enhance an individual interaction, job performance, and career prospects. And unlike hard skills, which are more about personal skill set and ability to perform a certain type of task or activity. And quite often soft skills are related to a person's ability to interact effectively with, you know, with co-workers or customers, and can be very much applicable in and outside the workplace. However, with regard to entrepreneurship, they are strongly related to setting up a business and growing a business. And one could argue that soft skills are also needed for entrepreneurship. And how do we refer to entrepreneurship? It's very much about, for example, an employee taking initiatives in an organization to undertake something new. Very often the entrepreneur is being called the entrepreneur inside the organization. Now, what are those soft skills? What do we consider soft skills to be? And it's very much about risk management, leadership, managing conflict, negotiation, creativity. Now, the other aspect about soft skills and hard skills is that hard skills are quite easy to measure. So if you want to learn more about marketing, for example, you will just go and take a course in marketing, and how will you find out if you have learned about marketing? Probably you didn't know what was unique selling proposition, and towards the end of the course you know about it, you know how to do a marketing campaign. So it is very measurable. So therefore it's easier as well to see progress. However, something that we will be discussing in the webinar is soft skills development. So say that a soft skill that I want to develop with regard to entrepreneurship is confidence. Now the question is, first of all, how do you measure confidence? And we know that in academia, for example, in terms of marketing, you can measure the content of marketing in level 1, level 2, level 3, which then is very easy to evaluate learning outcomes. But how do I measure then confidence at level 1, level 2, and level 3. That is a great challenge. So the other challenge for soft skills is that it's very much about self-evaluation, self-appraisal. So if I want to develop soft skills with regard to confidence with my client or with my mentee, how will I measure what level are with regard to self-confidence? And that is very much about self-evaluation. So all those things will have to be bear in mind with the tools that we're going to be using today. Now, surrounding hard skills and soft skills, there is the issue about context, and that is the personal and business context. So if your mentee is single mom that is ready to set up a business, of course her context is very important in terms of the number of hours that she can undertake, in terms of, you know, the resources she has, childcare, etc. So all those things that surround entrepreneurship is the entrepreneurship framework. Now, some of the tools that we're going to be talking today about will be looking both at soft skills and hard skills. Now, when we talk about the different stages of entrepreneurship, at least in the UK, we have defined it into this path, and that is pre-startup, startup, and growth. Therefore, some tools might be more useful for different stages of entrepreneurship, and some tools that we will discuss later on, you will be able to adapt them at different stages of the path of entrepreneurship. So what do I refer to when we are talking about pre-startup? Pre-startup is for somebody that thinks that entrepreneurship might be an option for them, but they're unsure if it is definitely for them. It's somebody that might not have a very clear business idea, but is exploring entrepreneurship as another option. So it's very much the exploration stage. So as a coach and as a mentor, you know, it will be very much about helping the mentee self-reflect on their skills for entrepreneurship, their motivation. Now, the pre-startup is for those mentees who already have a business idea. They haven't set it up, but they clearly know at least one or two business ideas that they want to explore. They have thought, you know, and they have considered entrepreneurship as definitely as one option for them, but they haven't set up a business. A startup is considered from the moment you set up a business up to 6 months. That's what we consider a startup in the UK, and then growth when you are building your business. Now, obviously, of all these tools, what you will be helping and exploring your mentee is to spot opportunities. And opportunities with regard to things, with regard to your inner resources, which you have not probably utilized, or maybe the mentee has not even considered them, and opportunities in terms of the market. Well, this image of a canary bird is in Algeria, and every time there's a drought and there's not enough water, what this little bird has developed an opportunity that when people use the water and they close the tap, there are always some drops remaining that come out, and always goes there and has identified that as a great opportunity to drink and get a sip of water. So you as a mentor are there within the tools to obviously spot those opportunities, internal and external. Now, obviously as well, for your mentee, and very much with regard to you, for some of you that are considering setting up as a coaching business, setting up a coaching business or a mentoring business, it's with regard to the different options to undertake. Would you set it up on your own? Would you go in partnership? Would you be a freelancer working for other coaching companies? And the same thing will go for your mentees, exploring the different avenues and the different opportunities that they can undertake. Now, we probably discussed this during the mentoring workshop that I deliver. But another opportunity to use the toolkit is very much about helping your mentee seeing different things. Now, we saw that if you remember this image, when you see it very clear, probably you do not know what it is. And when you step back, you see Starry Night from Vincent van Gogh. Now, the idea about some of the tools that we're going to look at, and some of them we very briefly discussed them in Bulgaria and Greece, and hopefully it will give you a good opportunity right now to try them on, is that the tools will hopefully help the mentee and yourself as a mentor to start saying what it might be chaotic at first, and the anxiety that it gives you setting up a business, the fear, and all the feelings that come obviously with uncertainty and with the process of management of change, to a whole perspective where you can understand what is your role in the business, what resources are around there that you have never thought about, timetable, goal settings, etc. Now, we know that entrepreneurship is very much about a path. Now, life in itself is a journey as well. But the idea about you helping a mentee explore entrepreneurship, it's a journey that you undertake together. Many times working with my mentees, I have learned a lot of things about my business that I have never thought about. Now, the journey, of course, can be as exciting as you want it to be. However, it's very important to understand as well for you that you might be thinking about setting up a business as a coach, why you are doing and why you are undertaking this journey. The question of why is crucial because that will very much be linked to motivation in terms of, getting out of bed, not having a boss to tell you, you have to do this and this and that, and running your own business. And obviously the journey might be even clearer when you know and you understand and you help your mentee understand why they undertook this journey in the first place. Now, so maybe perhaps the why is because the mentee and yourself, if you are setting up a business as a coach, want more independence, you are following a dream, or it's about work-life balance. And I've seen a lot with female entrepreneurs that this is one of the main reasons why they're setting up in business, because they want to have a better work-life balance and their current jobs do not allow that to happen. It's about growing, it's about sharing new ideas and many more. But many times when I've been working with my mentees who are setting up in business and I ask them, why are you doing this? It's just a session in itself to explore why are they undertaking the path towards entrepreneurship. And that is a very good point, because when you are working with different models and tools with regard to motivation, you can think, well, that was, remember when you set up a business, you told me about work-life balance, and now you're working 60 hours a week. How does that, how does that relate to what you wanted to set up a business? Maybe that's why you're not motivated. So as a coach, and for myself, has always been very helpful to keep lots of notes of the different stages of the journey and kind of remind my mentee why they started the journey and if they are on the right track. Now, obviously journeys change, and maybe you started your journey following a dream and wanted to be a coach, and then suddenly you realize that is more than following a dream. It's about a business model where you are employing a lot of people, and therefore it might change, and that is also the flexibility that you will need as a coach and as a mentor. Now, maybe perhaps when you see these images, maybe you relate to this when you want or if you have been thinking about setting up a business yourself, and how will your mentees also feel. So with regard to the tools, we know that there are many feelings and many emotions with regard to starting something new, in this case a business. You know, there might be a lot of concerns about finance, about will I receive my payment, how am I going to pay the bills, do I have to get a loan, you know, a lot of the issues that involve, of course, making that decision. Of course, it can be, you know, the freedom and independence that you're going to be working on your own. You might just be looking quite puzzled with all the financial numbers and all the things that you are learning. So being, you know, very close to that journey and all the feelings that your mentee might be experiencing is the best way of growing and developing empathy and rapport. Now, a lot of the literature what have shown is that rapport is one of the main elements in the success of a relationship between the mentor and mentee, between the therapist and the client. So building rapport is crucial in order to, of course, having a successful relationship. You might have the best toolkit, but if you have not spent time building rapport, it's not going to work. And rapport comes very much with regard to understanding where your mentee is coming from, and that all those feelings about, yeah, I might be very confident today, but maybe next session I meet my mentor, I'm just feeling very low and thinking this is not for me. So it's understanding that it's a journey with ups and downs, and that you might have different tools for different stages, different feelings at different moments, and at the same time, the first slide that I show you about the different stages that you might be in your business. Now, we talk about the difference between coaching and mentoring, and we know that coaching is very much about developing skills and competencies, and that mentoring is more about opening horizons, perspectives, widening the way you see life. But the area that overlaps between mentoring and coaching is the way that you will undertake and implement these tools. So we'll be discussing about, you know, in each one of the tools, where are you being a coach and when are you being a mentor, and how, you know, certain tools you can use them much more as a coach, and some tools, exactly the same tool, you might think I'm going to be doing this much more as a mentoring role, just basically to check paradigms and check perspectives with regard to a specific issue. So some of the tools that we're going to see, as I said, are for both hard and soft skills. Now, the first tool that we're going to see is the wheel of skills. Now, for some of you that arrived a couple of minutes late to the presentation, I ask everybody to download this tool from our website. So if you can go to innovaconsult.com, and on the right-hand side, click International. And if you scroll all the way down to the project Mentoring, there's something called Webinar 2 and then Wheel of Skills that you can download it. I think as well might be in your pack when I gave the presentation both in Bulgaria and Greece. And if not, for those of you who do not have a printer, I'm sure that you can draw the Wheel of Skills in a piece of paper. So don't worry if you don't have it with you. Now, the Wheel of Skills talks very much about, it comes from another wheel called Wheel of Life, but the Wheel of Skills is looking at all the list of desirable skills and attitude with regard to entrepreneurship. Now, if you can all see the, let me see, sorry, I just cannot see the GoToMeeting. Oh, it's here, sorry. So sorry. So the wheel of skills names in this case, I just put mainly soft skills. But if you think about all the skills that you need for developing your business, now, of course, it means being very well organized, flexible, disciplined. Now, a lot of these skills come from literature and from research. But if you think about all the hard skills that are not there when running your business, of course, there's the marketing, there's the business strategy, there's the finance. So a lot of the skills and of course, in this case, attitude as well would be a positive attitude, could be one of a very important attitude to have. Now, you make or you help your mentee come up with this list and of course add other skills and attitudes to the list. Now, in order for this exercise to work, I need you to think, and for those of you who are interested in setting up a business as in coaching or mentoring, it might be easier, but for those of you who might not be thinking of setting up a business, I want you to think like if you are setting up a business, and think about all the skills and attitudes that you will need to add to this list in order to set up your business. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. Now, if you don't want to set up a business in coaching and mentoring, think about any business that you would like to set up. Think about all the skills and attitudes that are not here that you will need to have. So I want you to just add, and write in a piece of paper any additional skills that you will need to have for that business idea, business skills to add that are currently not in that list. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about it. Okay. So can I move on to the next slide? If somebody still needs more time, can you please just type in the text box if you need a little bit of more time to add more skills to that list? Right, okay, so we can move on then. So then this is the Wheel of Business Skills. For some of you who have not been able to download it, you will need just in a piece of paper to draw the circle. As you can see, there are 4 inner circles, and to draw this Wheel of Business Skills. Now what I need you to do is to choose from the previous list. And for those who have downloaded from the website, you have the list. And if not, I will go back to show you the previous list. I need you to choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those skills that you think are the most important ones right now for you to set up a business. So choose 8 of those skills and write them per line. So here you will write a line. So it will look like this. You choose 8 and you will write down each one of them in each one of the lines. Now I will go back to the list of skills for those of you who do not have them in front of you. But just let me explain you a little bit more about the exercise. Once you have written the goals or the skills that you think are the most important ones right now, I want you to score where you are right now from 0 to 5. So if you think that in terms of setting goals, you're in number 3, you write a cross here. If you think in discipline you are number 2, you write an X here, and then you just make sure the lines are all together, and it's going to look like a spider web. Okay, so let me go back to the list of desirable skills and attitude for you to start doing your wheel of skills. So I will give you around 5 minutes to do this. But it's very important for the tools to work that you all give it a go, so you know how they feel, how you experience them, because then when you do them with your mentee, it might be much easier for you to discuss them. So is everybody okay? Anybody has a question? Can everybody just type if they're all okay with the exercise? Okay, great. Please do type in the text if you want me to go to a certain slide, if you want me to show you the next one, or if you want me to stay here showing you the list of desirable skills and attitudes. Sure. Okay, so this is the wheel. Alexandros, were you able to download it from the website, or are you just drawing it right now? Okay, great. So you want me to go to the other one, this one. Is that the right, Alexandros, the one you want to see? You can use your, yeah, great. I have unmuted all of you, so if you have any questions and you want to use your microphone, please feel free to do so. Yes, 5 is best, that's right. So 0 is the lowest score you can get. I want you to, of course, to score yourself of where you are right now with regard to that scale. So for this exercise, you know, this person in terms of problem solving was in number 3, and in perseverance was in number 3. So with regard to your business, in terms of coaching or mentoring or any other business idea you have, I want you to rate yourself of where you think you are right now at the present time. Hi, Nikolai. I could see you were trying to speak. Can you try it again, because I cannot hear you?
Hello?
Oh, hi, Nikolai. Welcome. Do you have a question,
Hi.
Nikolai?
No, I
Okay.
think we did it in Bulgaria.
Yeah, that's right. It's very similar to what we did in Bulgaria, but I just want you to give it a go again to discuss more about different ways of using it with your mentee.
Yes.
I'm going to mute all again because there's some background noise, but if you have any question, just please feel free to type in the text box. Okay, now what I would like you to do is to score yourself again in terms of where would you like to be with regard to that skill set in 6 months time. And therefore you will see a similar wheel like the one I'm showing you right now. So in 6 months I am 2 in disciplined and I want to be 4. So the red lines indicate where I want to be in 6 months, and then you of course can just make sure the lines come together. So it's going to look like this. Have you all finished? Can you please type if you have all finished? Great. Christina, great. Thank you very much. Maria, thank you. Yes. Alexandros, have you finished? Okay. Yes, thank you. Yeah, great. Nikolai, have you finished? Yes, Nikolai, have you finished? Galina? Okay. Galina, have you finished? Maybe Alina cannot hear us very well. Okay, so let me move to the next stage. Oh, great. Thank you, Galina. Now, the important thing about the wheel of skills is that it helps the mentee, in this case you, prioritize skills because sometimes you have to develop so many and you don't know where to start with. So it's as well a tool that allows self-evaluation because it's not you as the mentee as a mentor telling the mentee this is the skills you need to identify. It's the mentee being empowered to identify the skills she thinks they need to develop. So the first advantage of this tool is that it narrows the skill set and attributes. The second thing is that it helps you quantify and as well it's self-evaluation of where you are right now. And the 6-month timetable is very important because it has to be, of course, achievable, and it's remember the SMART goals. It's time bound, so you know in 6 months where you want to be with regard to your business. So this is a good starting point as a coach to help you identify in terms of your goal setting with your mentee what are going to be the skills that they're going to be developing. So with regard to our first diagram of coach and mentor, you can see that this tool works very much in terms of coaching. It's very much skill set. However, how you use it and how you explore that with your mentee can be very much about mentoring. Now, let me give you an example of what you can do after you have identified, for example, disciplined. So you can develop an action plan that is very concise and is even more concise because you choose one skill, in this case disciplined. So one of the actions, and so you have a table that you can do in terms of actions by when, comments, and resources. Now this table is very flexible. You can add as many columns, and many times with my mentees they add other things that they consider are important to have. So 2 actions for that coaching session that I will then address with my mentee in the next session in order to develop further the skill, attitude, in this case disciplined. Now, when you're discussing this with your mentee, disciplined might mean many things. In what respect? Discipline in not getting clients, discipline in not being very motivated. So I was able to narrow it. In discipline for my mentee meant that she was not getting things done. That was her main problem. She was procrastinating, and she was very much wasting a lot of time. Now that comes in terms of mentoring skills, because we had a conversation about if she always thought she was not disciplined, was she disciplined when she was a student? So it was very much about exploring and helping her understand more about what does discipline mean. Now we identified that it was not getting things done. Now the challenge for soft skills is that are more difficult in terms of getting an action plan and developing, of course, a personal development plan. So in this case, the action was going to monitor for 3 days the use of time wasters. You know, she felt that she was always on Facebook and LinkedIn, etc. So she was going to monitor how much time she spent during 3 days in terms of time wasters. She was going to do it by the 31st of May. In this case, it was 2009. And comments, she was going to share it with the coach to identify ways of improving performance. And some of the resources she was going to use, she was very much IT based, so she wanted to use a software that a friend of hers told her about how you can monitor your time wasters, and the software towards the end will give you a lovely chart about how you were spending your time. So she felt that that was a really good resource to motivate her. Now, a second action was going to be an interview with Mr. Jones, who she thought was very disciplined and wanted to learn from him. Now, she was going to write a list of action points after the interview. So if Mr. Jones said, well, I'm disciplined because what I do every morning is that I make sure that when I wake up, I make a list of things I'm going to do that day. So she was going to kind of collect a list of best practice, of things she thought Mr. Jones was doing well, and the resources, because Mr. Jones was not living near to her house. She was going to set up a Skype call. So now this is a very nice tool because it enables you to have a clear action plan and to monitor the development of skills with your mentee. Now, so based on this, if you can go back to your wheel of skills and identify one of the skills you decided to develop, and go back to the action plan. So identify one of all those skills that you have already done in your wheel of skills, and then try to put at least 2 actions that you can undertake to develop that skill that you have identified. So I'll give you 2 minutes to think about it. Great. So would somebody like to share with us one of their action points with regard to the skill that you have identified? Anyone that would like to share one action point with regard to a skill that you have identified so we can learn from that? Hello? Okay, and I want to become more organized. Great. So, Anna, can you give us one action point in order to develop that skill? You can follow Anna's discussion in the text box, everybody. Okay, now the beginning of the day. Now, something that we all do, and this is a very good example, Anna, thank you very much, is that we all tend to do that, and then towards the end of the day, the action points, we forget about the action points. So a good example, if Anna will be my mentee, is to explore with her what motivates her. Does she like technology? Does she like colors? Does she like stationary stuff? So, Anna, do you like when you see something in the written form, do you like a lot of colors? Do you like more technology? What motivates you more when you see something? Doing it behind the computer or doing it in a piece of paper? Okay, so maybe what I will be exploring with Anna, and it's another tool that we're going to be looking, is mind maps. Maybe another way of undertaking, your list of pendings is to do a mind map with colors and different things. So it is as well about using creativity and changing things. We know that habits are very difficult to change. So think about pendings as well, and is very much linked to motivation. So we don't do those pendings that give us anxiety. So very much about mentoring, we'll be exploring with Anna what are the things that she's procrastinating, the things that she's not doing, and analyzing with her what is the real cause of it. So maybe she's not doing, say, a business plan. And maybe one of the main issues about not doing the business plan is not that she's lazy or not well organized, is that it just gives her a lot of anxiety. So a lot of the things I've seen with my mentees, when they come back with this plan, sometimes they haven't done point number 2. So we discuss why not, or what were the challenges, and sometimes we identify that it has to do with a feeling, and the feeling of fear or the feeling of anxiety. So unless those feelings are addressed, you will keep on not doing it. You will keep on postponing it. So that is something that would be interesting for you to explore with your mentee. And for you, if you want to set up a coaching business as well, to identify the things that you are not doing might be something very often related to feelings, either anxiety or boredom. Okay, any questions about this tool before we move on? Okay, great. So let's move to metaphors. Now, metaphors connect ideas and feelings. There's a lot of research that says that metaphors are very handy to put information together, but as well to get the information back. We use metaphors a lot in our daily lives. And one way of using metaphors as well is that the mentee, in this case you will see it with you, can detach themselves from a situation. They can use images that will be easier for them to understand their feelings, and it's a excellent tool for you as a mentor to understand better where your mentee is. Now, for yourselves, if you're setting up a business in coaching, the metaphor tool is a really good tool as well to help you understand where you are right now and how you feel about being in coaching or metaphor. So let me give you an example. If I say that my metaphor currently while setting up a business in coaching is like this is the metaphor. It's like sailing and I feel I'm competing. It's like the rat race. Everybody wants to become a coach, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to have enough clients. I'm getting tired because I have been, trying to set up a business for a long time, so I'm really exhausted, and and the water is really cold. It's a very aggressive environment where I am right now, so I'm feeling quite exhausted and quite anxious about it. And even do not know why I'm sailing and why I'm doing it, and I'm not even sure about the destination. Now, by giving you that metaphor, I'm sure you can clearly see where I'm coming from, and I'm sure you can identify better with my feelings. If I would just have said to you, I just feel anxious because I'm setting up this coaching business, would have given you a complete different perspective compared to the metaphor I have used. Then I sometimes ask my mentees, okay, so this is how you feel right now in terms of your metaphor. How would you like to be? Or give me another metaphor that can represent or reflect your ideal situation. How would you like to be instead? Or what would you like to feel instead? And if I come up with this metaphor and say, well, what I would like to do is I would still like to be in the sea, I would still like to be in this adventure of setting up a business, but much more in a team, not doing it on my own. I would like to maybe do it with other people, maybe a partner or in a company with other people that we set up the mentoring and coaching business. And even though I might not sure where I'm leading to, at least I know that I have an aim and I want to be, the best coaching program for young unemployed people. So I know at least the target group that I want to address. So I want, of course, more peace and tranquility. I don't like this rat race and this feeling of feeling very, competitive all the time. Now, by using this metaphor, I'm sure you could understand much better what I am aiming to do as a mentee. As a mentee, I felt that I could explain myself better rather than just using words, because I'm using images. Now, you can ask your mentee, for this exercise, you can take a lot of photos on your computer and ask your mentee to use the metaphor that they want to reflect, or you can just ask them to explain it to you, or to just make a simple drawing if you're good at, or of course to just to write it in terms of a sentence. Now, the use of metaphors can be of great benefit. Metaphors can explain abstract or complex concepts. It creates a sense of familiarity because you relate to the sea, you relate to a boat, you understand what it feels to be tired and the water splashing against you and if it's cold. It triggers emotions because when I was explaining it to you and you were looking at the image, probably it triggered emotions about like, oh my God, she's really tired, she's not going through a nice time. It might draw attention to a certain issue. In this case, when I was saying to you, I just feel like I'm on this boat on my own, maybe the issue that I'm setting up a business on my own, this is a real important issue that I need to address, or your mentee needs to address. And it can help people to motivate, because by using metaphors, they feel more detached from the problem. So that's a powerful tool that you can use it. Now, we don't have a lot of time today for you to give it a go, but what it will be a nice experience is for you, in your coaching practice, or right now that you are trying to set up a business, to try to use it with your mentees and experience the tool. It will be a good exercise for you to, of course, think about a metaphor for how you feel right now in a transition. In any transition, you can be either if you started a new business, if you started a new job, if you started something new, how you feel right now in terms of the metaphor, if you would like, if you could explain it, and how would you like to feel. That will be hopefully of interest to you. Now, there's this book that is fascinating, and it's called Metaphors We Live By George Lakoff and Mark Johnson. You can find it in Amazon. You can read some of the pages in Amazon that explains how important it is to use metaphors in our practice and in therapy. Of course, it explains a lot about how we use metaphors in English, but I'm sure it will be very relevant to your practice. Now, if you don't have time to copy all the information, don't worry, because this webinar is being recorded and we will upload it onto the website and give you the link, so you can always go back and take more notes. Now, the next business and the next tool looks more at hard skills, and it's about business and strategy. It's about marketing. Now, this is something we saw as well in Bulgaria, but we didn't see this in Athens. When I was discussing this business idea with one of our mentees many, many years ago, and one of the issues is that she wanted to set up a beauty salon. And what we explore in terms of any business model is that, of course, you have a client, she has her nails done, she pays, and that's it of the business transaction. But something in terms of marketing that you will probably explore with your mentee is that when we are selling products, we're not selling products, we're selling benefits. So when somebody's buying a car, they're not buying a car, they are buying safety, they're buying status, they're buying comfort. So sometimes when you are buying a coffee, you're not buying just a coffee, you're buying benefits. So maybe you are buying it because it's helping the developing world, maybe because you're buying it because of status. And some companies have done this very wisely, like Starbucks. Starbucks is very much appealing to professionals who can then take their laptop and work there. So when we were exploring this business model, we thought, well, okay, what will make you special in terms of your business? So just by using these images, we came up with a nice business model. In this case, we added and you can do this by words or by images. So we were putting the different images at different stages of the business, and identified that probably she was going to address more her business to professional women who did not have time really to go to the hair salon. So it was going to be a boutique salon, and this business is up and running. And what she did is that she had laptops, and so people kept on working. Probably nowadays, of course, they brought their own laptops, but she had Wi-Fi and all the table set, so women could still look at their emails. And she was attracting very much accountants and attorneys, etc., and lawyers. Now, while the nails were being done, she was offering, a cappuccino, and she made a deal with one of the coffee companies to offer one of their coffee. So it was not only just coffee; she could offer lattes and espressos and cappuccinos. Now, of course, the price was very different to a normal beauty salon, but she was addressing a specific target group. Then, of course, when people were paying, what she was doing is that she was using everything electronic. So they were having like a tap, means that they had a code and then the bill was going to them by email, so they didn't have to pay there and then, so they could just go in and go back to their work very quickly. Now, that takes me down to your business, to your coaching business. For you to think about, as in the previous model, she was very clear who was her target market. In this case, their target group was professional women who didn't have time, who wanted status, who wanted comfort, and that was the coffee and paying online afterwards. So think about in terms of your coaching business, what will make you different? Who will be your main client? Are you mainly addressing women or young unemployed recent graduates, or you are offering it to everybody? But what will make you different as a coach? Because of course every coach is different, and the main difference will be you, right? Your personality, but as well other services surrounding coaching. So based on this model, it might be of interest right now or later, because you might need time to consider it. What will be the things that you will be surrounding your coaching business? So you can put all the little things around in images or words around yourself and all the services that you are going to feel. Now, Anna said, can you please mute us? I think I have done it, Anna. Can you still hear, do you still hear background noises, Anna? I think I have muted everybody. Nope. Oh, everybody is muted. Let me see.
I'm here.
Yeah, everybody's muted, Anna. So, okay, great. Now, the next tool, and we're coming to an end soon because I know it's has been an hour already. It's mind maps. We look at this in Bulgaria, but I just wanted to give you a good resource about mind maps. It's Tony Busan, who's one of the creators of mind maps, and this is how to mind map. Now, this book, you can find it on Amazon, and sometimes you can see some of the mind maps that he was talking about. So how you can use mind maps? You can use mind maps based on the goal setting you identify with your mentee. You can use the mind map based on the pre-startup. For example, this example of mind map was for somebody that didn't have a clue what business she wanted to do. So what we had to do is to look at her hobbies, what she was good at. So she was good at writing, she was good at cooking, she was good at languages, and she was good at organizing stuff. So through the mind map, we realized all the kind of businesses she could do with each one of her talents. So in writing, she could do newsletters for organizations, she could do blogs, she could do proofreading, cooking, food for babies, she could do organic food for busy people. Now, this might be an interesting mind map for you to use with regard to your coaching business. So if you put in the middle my coaching business and then put as branches of the mind map all your talents that you are within regard coaching. Maybe you are excellent at public speaking, so then you can put public speaking. Maybe you are excellent at organizing things, so maybe you can link yourself with another coaching company and you can be the person responsible for organizing the coaching events. So this mind map is a good tool for you to as well help identify what will you add and what are your strengths with regard to your coaching business and what will make you different. Now, the interesting thing about mind maps is that if you merge two things, you can come up with another business idea. So if you are following my mouse here, when we merge cooking and languages, we came up with different business ideas. So her mother was from Spain, her father was British, so obviously she spoke Spanish fluently, but she was very good at cooking. So she thought if she combined cooking and languages, she could, for example, organize holidays abroad in Spain where people could learn Spanish and as well learn how to cook Spanish food. She could obviously as well cook while people are cooking, everything will be in Spanish, so they will be learning Spanish, or she could be selling Spanish cooking products. So she could bring, I don't know, olive oil from Spain to the UK. So she didn't think about it until we merged two. So when you are doing this mind map with regard to your business idea or when you're helping your mentee, try to combine two different items and then obviously new businesses ideas or new paths will come up with. Now, there's another nice book called Techniques for Coaching and Mentoring from David Megginson and and David Clutterbuck. It gives you other toolkits for when you are looking at or exploring a mentoring relationship. Now, David Megginson and David Clutterbuck, as I mentioned during my workshops, they are really leading in terms of the research of mentoring and coaching in the UK and internationally. So if you just type their name in Google, you will see all the things that they have done. But this is one of the latest books that they have just published. Now, the storyboard goal, it's another way of understanding how you are going to achieve that. So say that number 9 is your vision, is that your friend and you will be going to Egypt. Now, in this case, number 9 for you will be, I will be setting up my coaching business or any other kind of business you want to set up. So instead of working from number 1 to number 9, what you will do is that you start in number 9 and go backwards, then go to number 8, then number 7, 6, 5. And this helps a lot because it helps you do a breakdown of the tasks and the steps that you need to undertake to achieve number 9, to arrive to point number 9. Now, our mind thinks obviously in terms of what am I going to do from here to the moment I set up a business. But if you think backwards and in terms of time, so, okay, I want to set up a business. My business of business and coaching will be successful or set up by December. Okay, now I'm in December. What needs to be done by November? So you work yourself retrospectively. So then you start thinking from a very different perspective. It's much more a creative tool. Now, of course, remember this is what mentees tend to get in a relationship. So this is the tools that will help you get these quotes. Somewhere that they can go to. The trusting friend relationship, again, about the rapport is very important. Self-perception, as you can see, mentoring is not simply task-oriented, but more about self-perception. Crucial in terms of soft skills development. And the control and the feeling of empowerment. I feel I'm in control of my career. Now, this feeling of empowerment is the feeling you want to, of course, develop in your mentees. Now, for you as mentors, as you can see, these are some quotes from mentors. You feel hopefully energized, and you will become much more aware of the strength and power of mentoring while you see your mentee grow and develop, and of course also help you think through your own practice in terms of your own business. Now, I like this quote to finish the webinar because a real decision is really measured by the fact that you have taken a new action. If there's no action, you haven't truly decided. So this very much links to your mentee. So if they talk a lot but they do not undertake any kind of action, it means that they still haven't really decided what they want to do. The same thing for you. If you want to really develop your coaching practice, if you haven't started anything with regard to your coaching practice, no logos, no marketing, means that maybe you haven't really decided if that's something you want to do. So very important about measuring decision with action. And something that is very empowering is for you to know that as a mentor, this is a quote from mentee and it's really lovely. My mentor helped me review my last 2 months in order to transform my next 12 months. And, you know, and you are going to be in this area of work of transformation, which is really a great honor to be able to be in people's lives and help them transform themselves as well as transforming yourself. So, thank you very much, and I will now unmute all for any questions that you might have, especially with regard to how to use some of the tools, or if you found one of the tools more useful than others, it will be interesting if you want to share it with the group.